And here we go, day 3 of the government shutdown. Republicans are blasting the Democrats' proposal, accusing them of trying to give illegal immigrants taxpayer-funded health care. House Speaker Mike Johnson, he joins us now, and it is great to have you. All right, the full screen here. $200 billion in health care benefits for illegals in the Democratic CR. They said no. What do you say?
Well, welcome to day 3 of the Democrat shutdown. You've got the Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats have now voted 3 times to reject the clean, simple, continuing resolution that we passed out of the House 2 weeks ago to keep the government operating for the people. Real pain for real Americans. And they're claiming breathlessly, Dana, that they're not trying to restore free taxpayer-funded benefits and health care to illegal aliens, and it's simply not true. I would direct everybody right now, go to speaker.gov, okay? That's my official website. We put right there on the first page the evidence. I have the receipts, okay, as Bill said earlier. Chuck Schumer filed a counter proposal, a counter continuing resolution when they voted ours down. And what is in that? If you go there on the page, you'll see, go to page 57. It's buried in their document. But it says in that section 2141, right there, Chuck Schumer filed it. It says they want to repeal the health provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the Working Families Tax Cut that we Republicans passed earlier this year and that President Trump signed into law on July 4th. Now, why is that so important? Because, Dana, that's where you'll find they want to add back in almost $200 billion of taxpayer funds to give free stuff to illegal aliens. 100% in writing, not a Republican talking point. It's Chuck Schumer's own document.
Wow. Okay, so you've got that. And you've got a few moderate Democrats in the Senate who may crack. We'll see when this vote goes down, and they may stay strong. Jean Shaheen is one of them, and she came on Fox yesterday and was talking about, well, there are a lot of people in districts where President Trump won who could be in peril if these health care subsidies lapse. Here's what you said. Here's her argument right now.
Health insurance companies right now this month are setting those rates. So we need to get together. We need to address this. This is an issue that affects both Democrats and Republicans. You know, over 70% of people who are getting those health insurance subsidies are in states that President Trump won. 56% of them are in Republican districts.
That would seem to be pretty overwhelming, and I'm sure you're aware of this, and I imagine a lot of those folks live in Louisiana. What would you say to that?
Yeah, Bill, we're all aware of this. It's a total red herring. The Democrats have grasped onto a December policy issue. What she's referring to there doesn't expire until December 31st. We have 3 months in Congress to work through that issue. It has nothing to do with this September stopgap funding measure that will merely keep the government open for the people so that Republicans and Democrats can work here through the regular process to finish appropriations. They are trying to grab a red herring to distract everyone from the simple fact that they want to put illegal aliens back on the taxpayer-funded benefits wagon, and they want to, by the way, there are other demands in this counterproposal. They want us to give $500 million of American taxpayer funds back to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to prop up left-leaning media organizations. They want to add $1.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars of new spending that we cannot afford right now. The American people cannot afford, and they want to do that on a 7-week stopgap funding measure. It's absurd. Let me tell you something. Every Democrat in the Senate that voted against this has voted for the same, almost identical thing 13 times. 13 times during the Biden administration over 4 years, but now suddenly they can't do it. There's one reason and one reason alone that this fight is being waged right now. They're trying to prove themselves to the Marxist left base of the Democrat Party. Plain and simple. Chuck Schumer made this decision because he's afraid that AOC or one of the Marxists are going to challenge him in his next Senate re-election bid, and that's why he's doing this, selfishly and very dangerously for the American people.
Let's listen to AOC. This is what she said on her Instagram account.
This is what Republicans love to do. Whenever we fight to elevate the minimum wage, to expand Social Security, to make healthcare better in this country, in order to derail that, Republicans love to dangle this shiny object that says, but what if someone not like you gets it?
Okay, you work with Hakeem Jeffries and you work with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Who do you think is a better communicator?
Well, she's way better on social media, and she gets all the attention. But remember what she stands for, okay? She is the most vocal opponent for Mamdani, who's about to be elected, apparently, mayor of America's largest city and the once cradle of capitalism. These people are Marxists. They want the government to take over and run everything. And what that means for you, listen, average American citizens, you surrender your freedom for the government to take over. It never works. It's destructive, and it is anti-American. And they are advancing something that their parents' generation of Democrats would have soundly rejected. This is not your father's Democratic Party. These people are dangerous to our system, and everybody needs to wake up and understand that. I don't care what they put on social media. You need to look at the philosophy behind that. And we're fighting to preserve freedom of the greatest nation in the history of the world that we celebrate 250 years next year. We've got to defend it. That freedom is not inherited in the bloodstream.
Yeah, we had a big vote here in New York in 4.5 weeks. That's coming up very quickly. Can I ask you, of these 7 moderate Democrats that are described to us, have you heard from any of them? Is there a crack within that group?
Well, we hope so. I talked to Leader Thune late last night. They're working on that. They're hopeful that some of them will come to their senses. They don't want to be blamed for the destruction that is being wrought. There are real people being hurt right now. We have women, infants, and children nutrition programs that are now not funded. You have veterans health services that are not funded. FEMA, many of their services are stalled right now in the middle of a hurricane season. You got troops and TSA agents and Border Patrol agents serving us right now, defending the country without pay.
Well, you make an interesting argument with that. Does this vote, does it actually pass today and shock the world?
Well, I certainly hope so. I'm praying that this ends quickly, because this is
No, I get it,
wrong
but is that
to
a
do to
yes or a
American
no for today's vote?
Well, I don't know. I'm not in the Senate, but I'm trying to read the tea leaves as everybody else. I think there are cracks, and I think more Democrats will come along, and I hope they do it sooner than later.
Zooming out, just one last question from me. Kim Strassel this morning in the Wall Street Journal, she talks about Republicans, health care, the policy, and the messaging. Do you agree with her that the Republicans are weak, vulnerable on health care policy at this moment, when a lot of Americans are saying they are worried about the high prices, but there's just very little discussion about why the prices are so high?
Exactly. We're all concerned about that, but if they look at the facts, Republicans are the ones that are solving the problem. In the big, beautiful bill, when we put the reforms in for Medicaid, what we've done is brought down the premiums, and we have eliminated the fraud, waste, and abuse. The CBO is the analyst that just put that out, August 25th. Go look it up. And they said the CBO is not a Republican group. They're the neutral arbiters here. And they say the Republicans are right, because what we did was save $185 billion of waste and abuse in the program with our reforms. And we're going to get 2.3 ineligible recipients off of that. That's those illegal aliens. That's the young, able-bodied men.
But what about
who are
people who are not on Medicaid, people who are either on the Obama exchanges or are worried they're going to lose their employee-sponsored health insurance?
Yes, we have a lot of reforms that we need to push through, but the answer is not to grow government and further subsidize insurance companies, which is exactly what those subsidies do. It doesn't help bring premiums down. We got to do it for the people, not for the insurance companies. That's a pretty important distinction.
Sir, thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming on. I don't know, what are you getting, like 3 hours of sleep a night?
Probably. Well, just listen to the Taylor Swift album. You'll be fine. Stay up all night.
Right, sure.
Thank you, sir,
Thanks.
for your time. Speaker Johnson, appreciate you coming on. Thank you.